What is up, the world of the living? My name is letsplay. Welcome back to truly Bedrock. Friends, today marks today's episode. Want you work? Today's episode marks a very monumentous occasion for this series. This here is a long time coming, and I've been avoiding this for quite a while, but finally, starting today, nothing will ever be the same again. And it's really cool of me that we're finally doing this. I'm very excited for it. So without further ado, let's get into it. The date is the third day of Truly Bedrock Season 3. My name is letsplay and I am at the exact coordinates where the All-Star would be if there was still an All-Star. But there's nothing of the previous infrastructure to be found. The moon chunks that appear to have landed on the planet have annihilated terrain into a bizarre concoction as if made by a madman. If there truly is still an All-Star somewhere under all of it, I doubt there's any reaching up for it. I'm starting this log to catalog the progress of my project Resurrection. The mission is to locate and reactivate what's left of All-Star, of Alice, and bring them back online, no matter the cost. So, you know my castle, right? I've made a separate mini-series about it because it didn't necessarily fit into anything I was doing back on Truly Bedrock at the moment when I was working on it. But you do know my castle, you know of my castle. It's very big, everybody likes it, but I've been low-key avoiding working some more on it because of just how much was strained on the resources it was. For example, you might remember that to actually put it together, to actually plop it down onto the terrain, I would first need to establish the terrain itself. And would you look at that, I had to terraform, I had to plop a giant flat area over a cliffside, creating a giant hole that nobody would ever try and fill in. And would you look at this? Thanks to a couple of streams over on Twitch TV/letsplay, we actually did fill it in successfully. Now, this is all but a familiar terraforming technique that I already utilized once back on Truly Bedrock Season 2 for the All-Star. Back then, it was actually hiding All-Stars. It was hiding All-Stars redstone, so that people can build on top of it, so that it's not much of a issue, and people so it don't take up much more space. But this time around, we actually filled in the terraforming under our glorious home, and not just from this epic side, not only from the side that actually matters, that actually people are gonna see it from, but also a much bigger, 3 times the size over on the back side has also all been filled in. Now, I've been told that this is a little bit too plain, and I do kind of agree, it is. However, due to this being primarily my base and not necessarily a public place, so like, definitely not like All-Star from the previous season. Yeah, so because this is more on my base, my own base, I decided that I'm actually okay with this. I actually really like the way this terrain came out, this side cliff came to be, and we might still be adding more detail to it. Like, for example, I remember people suggesting I do a waterfall or a lava fall even, or maybe I throw a couple buildings down there into the valley under it. I feel like this complements my castle quite well, and overall just makes my castle incredibly cool looking. So that's what I'm talking about. Today marks the momentous milestone for the Truly Bedrock series of mine. Today we finally finish the castle's exterior and can at least and we can finally start working on the insides of it, which again I've been avoiding for quite a while because of just how much of a strain on the resources and time it would actually take. Heck, I expected this area down here to be a giant strain on resources. Like this much stone, are you kidding me? If I had to mine it myself, I would have flippin' died. However, I didn't, because guess what? All of the stone I used to put together that cliff down there has actually been bought by me from the from the dump shop. Because while I was away, somebody actually came in and successfully filled in several barrels of cobble and several barrels of stone too. Meaning that people are actually taking materials out of here, and people are actually filling the materials back into here without me needing to supervise it. And yes, I know what you're wondering though. Is there still copper for Foxy to buy? And yes, there is, my friends. There's plenty of that to go around. Foxers, if you are watching, come in and grab it. Feel free to. I mean, for money, of course, but still though. And thank you so much for keeping the dump shop alive. I cannot tell you how important it is that you do. Right, log number 5, the excavation project of the desert at the Allstar site has brought in precisely nothing but a bunch of sand. If the remnants of the Allstar are there, I highly doubt I will be reaching them at all, or otherwise I am incapable of finding them. Not with the shovel, not with the X-ray. Luckily there's one more gift that was left to me by Alice before whatever happened to them happened. This is a shulker box I managed to snatch back during the finale of the season 2 of Truly Bedrock. This is one of Alice's faces from the front of the store. It appeared to have had been reset to its original state, to its neutral state of sorts, and it doesn't seem to be reacting to any vocal input. I'm yet to determine if it has any redstone properties different from a regular shulker box, but I'm very determined to find out. If there's any Alice left inside of this shulker here, I'll find it and I'll drag it right out. So with all that being said, we have finished the exterior of the Castle Zlomitrescu, which yes is the name of it. I never actually said it in any of my videos, but that is the name. If you're wondering, Castle Zlomitrescu, that's the official name of my base. With all that, I decided that today I will gather some materials, or rather, buy some materials for myself that will help me set up the first ever room in the castle. And I decided that we're gonna actually take it a little bit easier, and we're gonna start from here, from this corridor down here. And if it doesn't look like much of a corridor to you right now, don't worry, it will by the time we're finished. Actually, it won't be a corridor. That's the plot twist. This will be a proper, fully fledged room by the time we're done. And it will in fact be a library. That's why I've got myself several stacks of bookshelves, and I also decided on exactly what kind of a palette we're gonna go for the backdrop, for the walls of it. And I was naturally I had a block palette of millions, because blocks are all freely available, but ultimately I decided on the palette of red wool mixed in with red concrete. And apparently I don't have any of my concrete supplies in any of these shulker boxes. Hold on, let me go fetch it for just a moment. Day 5 of the experimentation. The subject appears to have no reaction to neither redstone current nor villager trading. Additionally, examination of the schematics of the All-Store showed no visible reason for the appearance of the subject. Then again, this doesn't matter, because even if I could recreate whatever happened to Alice to appear, that would just make another Alice and not just resummon the same one. I have a couple more ideas. In the coming days, I will be trying to create not this owl store itself, but the conditions that made it what it was. Perhaps plugging the shulker box into a convoluted redstone mess will once again reignite whatever made this entire thing happen to begin with. In the meantime, we shall attempt a more sentimental approach. Also, note to self, glow lichen looks way better as an empty spot signifier than the iron bars. Love it. So what I decided is, I decided to section off the area we'll be working on first and foremost. Now, the corridor itself, I decided to section off as a 3 blocks wide for the door, and then the corridor itself to be 5 blocks wide. That leaves us with a 1, 2, 3, 7 blocks wide library itself, which is going to be a little bit cramped. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little bit cramped, and that's definitely not helped by the fact that we will be double thickening all of our walls, or at least this wall down here. Now, this castle of mine is actually designed with the idea of double thick walls all over the place. I never meant for these mushroom blocks to actually be the exact blocks we'll be using for decoration on the inside. However, that doesn't cancel out that we can potentially try and use the opening into the deep slate as our other design element. So it's not purely black and white over in here. In fact, it's not black and white at all. We'll be using quite a bit of red for this palette. Now, here's the trick with the walls once again. The whole reason really why we want double thick walls, at least on the outside anyway, is because we don't want the browns of the outside to leak in. We instead want this particular effect over here, which in my opinion, it's pretty good palette. It's basically a way to make a stripy wallpaper in your game without having entirely stripy a wallpaper, without having actual vertical stripes, you know, which is, you know, very, very not clever of me to say, because we are actually gonna still have giant red stripes dripping down the walls. But we will be at least doing it a little bit more subtle than using something that straight up has vertical lines on it, like the spruce logs over here, which, yes, will be our bottom block, because we will be emulating, like, not floorboards, but wall boards of sorts. It's actually quite interesting, because, you see, we'll not be using dark oak logs to go with dark oak planks, even though they do fit together, because the dark oak logs have a very ashen type of texture compared to the spruce one. And you will find that the dark oak wood planks actually go let's put it that way, they match much better with the spruce logs than they do with the dark oak ones, because of that exact ashen kind of texture. And hey, look, on the vanilla resource pack, the logs actually do tile really, really well, or rather they do flush really, really well. They are very seamless when you put them one next to another. So that's another reason for us to do this. And then, after we establish the horizontal line of the, of the dark oak plank as our separator from the vertical lines of the spruce log to the actual plain texture of the wall, that's when we're gonna do alternating texture for the wall. One concrete, one wool, one concrete, one wool, and approximately up until the ceiling, which, yeah, the ceiling itself is an entirely different type of beast that we're gonna have to discuss and all that kind of stuff. It's all interior design, and luckily we have plenty of space for activities to play around with that interior design, as opposed to your regular Minecraft house, in which you pretty much are obligated to go with whatever material the outside of the wall, you know, is already. Though having said that, I do actually absolutely dig the cooked terracotta over here. We could use this native texture for some walls around here. So just as a proof of concept, I have filled in the walls of the corridor and the wall on the library itself, and yeah, right now this is looking fairly mushroomy. I am really not a fan of how fleshy the red concrete powder looks. So we will definitely gonna be splushing all of this, because once again, no need for a concrete converter if you can just build with it and then splush it a little bit. It's fine. Yeah, torches can't handle it, but who cares about torches? We can place them back. And now with the right kind of concrete on the walls, yeah, this is looking royal. This is looking straight up out of a novel, like from Amnesia: The Dark Descent or some kind of stuff like that. I'm absolutely loving the look of it, but now though, we still have the ceiling to worry about. I mean, in the corridor, of course. In the actual library, we still have the entirety of the interior to worry about. And hey, this wall here is also entirely too plain, so we'll have to do something with it. Put a pin in that, we'll deal with it, I promise. Right now, we just need to find some sort of material for the ceiling. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna go absolutely basic and go rob some, what's it called? Sandstone from a desert somewhere. Just because polished sandstone just has that very distinct texture on its bottom that I feel goes for a nice ceiling. And the texture I'm talking about is, of course, just, it's plain. It's the exact same texture as the smooth sandstone, as the smelted sandstone does. So yeah, I'm liking it. Let's go gather just this, but you know, a lot. Right, so found myself a nice desert to rob. Oh my god, why did it go here? Why did it come here? There's a perfectly fine desert right next to my castle. Why did it have to come here? It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine. So this is a little bit of a nightmare to fill in, and we certainly are lucking out into the fact that the ceiling cut sandstone, not smooth sandstone, not polished sandstone, cut sandstone, I always forget the nomenclature, but no, we're certainly lucking out into cut sandstone being a nice side block as well as a nice top block. Now, I added some lanterns to light this up, and I'm hoping that this will be enough to add enough light to prevent the spawns, because the 1.18 cannot come soon enough. But now we're actually facing a different kind of dilemma. We need to establish some way to break into the actual room from the corridor section of the thing. And on some sort of a level, this is a no-brainer, right? Just plop down a couple doors like this, bada bing bada boom, donzo. However, you can tell how them not really being framed and them really being just two doors doesn't necessarily function for what we're trying to do here. And what I want to maybe do here is add a little bit more coherency to the corridor itself. So here's what I propose instead of this tiny yet very compact solution. We take this line over here and we continue it over here and we break through it. I don't have my shears on me, I apologize. We mirror the frame of the window from there onto this wall to tie the corridor together, to make it 1, 2, 3, to make it just a little bit more coherent, that this still all is the same room. And then just as a nice bonus, we put a single door back here, not a double one, but a single door. And to make up for the way it is, we just fill it everything else in the frame with the trapdoors of the same variety, resulting in something like this. and something like this on the opposite side. I also want another one of these on this side of the corridor, because logically speaking, and just thinking about it, it does seem like something that they would do, because the room of the library is gonna be incredibly long, so you would want it to be convenient to enter it from both this side and that side of the corridor without having to walk all the way through. Naturally, an alternative would be to just put it down the middle, but I just feel like the two doors approach here is gonna work much better. And yeah, it's a little bit of a waste of space, to be honest, on this side too, because now we need to keep this entire 3 by like however area open, so that, you know, it doesn't look like we're actually obstructing the door. But in reality, that's not as big of an issue as you might think, because we can still put materials here, here. It just needs to be a little bit more dispersed, so it looks like the area is open. It just so happens that Minecraft people just straight up don't need many commodities in their lives. Even in the library, especially in the library. So throwing in a bunch of stuff that makes it look a little bit more realistic and interesting is a worthy goal, technically. Even if it comes at the price of a little bit of extra wasted space. Now onto the interiors of the room, and I have planned out quite a bit of it. Quite a few things that I want to accomplish in here. For example, out here on this wall, I really want to have myself some sort of a manually assembled shelves where I could kind of show off how cool I am when you give me an armor stand that can hold materials. No matter that, I don't actually have any armor stands right now, so I am feeling pretty safe just filling these in with bookshelves. However, I still feel the need to maybe put something down here, and down here. Swap this one for at least a spruce wood slab, if not for like a proper oak block, oak plank, seeing how all of these materials, all of these bookshelves seem made out of that specifically, but also do the old trick that everybody does, where you take a loom and you pretend that it's an empty bookshelf. Something that I absolutely would have done if I remembered how to make a loom. Habonk? Stellar. Simply stellar. Actually, now that I think about it, we could probably also place a loom down here, just to pretend that this is some sort of a shelving unit, some sort of a wardrobe. Now, it probably doesn't hurt to put a lantern out here onto this little shelvie, just so we get extra light, because God knows this candle is not gonna provide enough whatsoever. Especially seeing how I actually don't don't have a flint and steel on me at the moment. Yeah, this lantern, good job. Then I also want several reading nooks to be inside of this area. For example, this one here, basically right under the window, which is where you would usually put it, because windows provide light during the daytime. Another one down here, though I don't know how I want to approach the little seaties for it, because you see, I already have a seat design like this, like a slab and a flap next to it. But I also think that when you have a wall this big right next to your little desk, the best way to deal with this is or would be to place a bed down there and just pretend that it's not a bed. A couch, which is exactly what it looks like from a little bit afar. I feel like that we can probably get away with. And then we just ensure that the back of the couch does look like the back of the couch by adding a couple blocks to kind of conceal it and make it more of a part of the scenery. Exactly same technique and exactly same idea goes for this place here, which honestly is my favorite part of the entire situation. I want to put 2 couches on opposite sides over here, put the bookshelves on top of these areas down there to double as like the backside of the couches, but also as, you know, actual bookshelves from whence you would take books to actually read. The side for it, I really want to do in spruce trapdoors to conceal that it doesn't really fit together, to be completely honest with you. But also I want to do this extra trapdoor on a side to serve as some sort of a book stopper on a shelf up top. And yeah, nothing is up there. We can't really put anything up there, unfortunately. But it looks really nice, doesn't it? Does it not? And boy, I am really upset right now that we can't really put any paper onto the trapdoors, anything to serve as a paper. We could potentially phase an armor stand into the ground, but unfortunately the underside of the desk here is entirely too visible, and that armor stand is gonna be perfectly see-through. You will be able to know that this is an armor stand. And then there's another entire issue with the paintings, where I don't think there's a 3x3 painting or even 3x2 one. I might try an experiment if I just craft one right here, right now. We're doing it live, whatever. Here you go, painting. Give me a 3x2. Yep, there we go. there just isn't one. We could at least make some banners, I suppose, and, you know, exploit them for all their worth. But unfortunately, they're not worth much. They really aren't. It does look kind of more like a coffee shop decoration rather than an actual painting of sorts, which I guess is just on me, and we can't really do my favorite thing when we put a banner and we frame it by putting the blocks behind it, because if we put the blocks behind it, well, then the wall is gonna be see-through. So that entire thing is just not working out whatsoever, unfortunately. I mean, trapdoors do a very interesting effect here, but I don't think that this is what we're going for. But apparently we can still pull this other trick to frame a banner, which is to put a 2x1 painting right behind it, approximately like this. It works even better with the black ones, because you see this exact painting. There's only 2 paintings that are 2x1 in Minecraft, and this one with the Pinocchio guy is the one that works the most. And I say Pinocchio guy, that guy is actually a character from King's Quest series or whatever. I understand that this is like a super important legacy video game from back the MS-DOS era. Look, in my mind, he's the Pinocchio guy painting, okay? That's what everybody's calling him. And that leaves us with this nice reading corner, which is not a corner whatsoever, it's just like a little nook between the bookshelves. Which admittedly this library doesn't actually have many of, but really, how many books do you need in this modern day and age? The answer is a lot, like all of the books, because we're using them as currency. But really though, really. I might lower this one by 1 block so it actually visually fits within the nook, and then put a chandelier, the one from my own tutorial on how to do like build hacks with candles, to hang from the middle, from the ceiling out here. And speaking of my tutorial for like life hacks with the candles, there is another thing that I actually wanted to bring back from there, and that is the skull chandelier. I want to put one in here because I want this area to look like a little occult corner, because I don't really have anything else to put in here. So I want to make it look like a little occult corner where I would have some info and materials like a skull and like candles and all the other stuff, you know, like a lectern, for example. That's another thing. Basically just to pretend that I'm researching, I don't know, dark arts, necromancy. Bringing people back from the dead. I'm a zombie after all. Log number 20, and I appear to have struck a little bit of an inspiration with Project Resurrection. If the redstone of original All-Star does not necessarily show exactly where the sainties of Alice came from, then maybe the socio-political issues constantly plaguing True Bedrock would. It's one thing that Alice was a store redstone-wise. It's another that they were a scam on a moral level. Perhaps by creating a scam as big or bigger, I will be able to resummon, reignite whatever made them tick. And I already have a pre-made idea for a scam that I could reuse. Back in Season 1, I created Pebble. This time around, I'm deciding to name the currency Dumb. Anyhow, I didn't have an actual skull, so I decided to use one of the Foxy plugin ones. But I don't remember which die you need to right-click it with to put it to move it downwards. So instead, we're doing this garbage. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I'm just gonna try and raise it through the floor to maybe go up into the supporting of the candles. Well, I moved it 1 pixel too high. We need to start this entire thing over. So now we just need to throw together the chandelier, and let me tell you, this is the feature I don't think I'm gonna ever get tired of. Just the idea that we can put random sideways things onto a candle. We actually might need to lower this by 1 block. I'm not even upset anymore that like candles actually need a block under them to function. This is minor potatoes compared to the absolute nightmare that we can make by just putting levers on a candle to make them kind of levitate like this. It looks a little bit shoddy, a little bit shitty, but nevertheless, I do think that the effect is well worth it. Especially because the levers themselves line up fairly well with candles centered on a block where the lever would be. Naturally, this entire thing would function way better if I had a damn freaking flint and steel on me. So even a design as simple as this will look pretty amazing as long as we actually light the damn candles on. Because why would I have a lighter? Why would I have a flint and steel? It's the most frustrating thing out there to craft, and it's the most useless freaking item ever. But no, you gotta have a flint and steel for this, Loy. You gotta get the candles, Loy. You gotta decorate your freaking house, Loy. Beaston, hi.
Oh my days, you just scared the life out of me. Did
Yes.
you just fly straight in?
Yes, it's very urgent. I need your help.
Okay, what's up?
It's on the matter of Alice.
What's an Alice?
And are you kidding me right now? Alice, giant robot, giant Voltron out of trucks. You worked on it. You made it.
Are you sure? Well, wait a minute.
It's been a minute. It's distinctly been a minute. Yes, you might want to call an ambulance. He seems to be having a stroke. Yeah, do you have what? Oh my God, you're alive! Hi.
Yes, Alice. Alice. I do remember that was really weird.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember Alice. Yes, Alice, the big
Yeah,
AI
All-Star
robot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I never told anyone about this, but Alice might be here on this server too. And I might need your help bringing them back. Right, you remember All-Star, last season, shop that sells everything, at a price, yada yada, went sentient, became a person.
Yep, I remember that.
May or may not have sacrificed themselves when being absolutely annihilated by meteors, right?
Yeah, I've got vague memory of that, yeah.
Yeah, well, what if I told you that they might still be alive? Before the store, the previous season, and the entire previous world has been absolutely annihilated by the meteors of the moon, I have snatched this shulker box off of Alice's face interface.
Right.
Yes.
And how's that gonna help?
Well, you see, this is all I have left of them, and for this entire season, I've been trying to spark them back into living. So, I already tested. It does not necessarily react to redstone in any way a shulker box wouldn't. Like, it doesn't really do much. But then I realized it's because it's not because of the redstone. It's because it's not redstone. Like, have you wondered why everything I've been doing this season resembles the original All-Star so much? The custom currency, the money, the everything, the stuff that people can buy and sell into.
Well, I mean, now you mention it, yeah.
It's a bit similar.
I guess you have been, yeah.
That's because I realized that the reason they weren't reacting to redstone is because they don't react to redstone. My theory was that the reason Alice came into sentience was specifically the socio-political reasons of the truly Bedrock server, the active roleplay that we all are propagating. So I decided to try and recreate as much of that within the dump shop as I could. And you know, it led to the amazing results.
Right, okay, do tell. I'm curious now. I can't really see how that links together yet, but carry on.
It didn't react at all again!
Right, what?
There have been no changes in their conditions. I don't get it, Bitstone.
Well, you know, just throwing it out there. But in order to, you know, recreate Alice and so on, wouldn't you have been better off grabbing the computer and not the monitor?
What?
Well, that's her face, right? That's the output interface. Where's the input?
The input was... Well, like, it was... The moon was falling. I couldn't just grab a giant redstone contraption. I just grabbed the...
A monitor. Basically.
This thing is completely useless, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. It's nice to have a memory of Alice, I guess, but I don't see how it's going to help you, I'm afraid, Zoe.
It has no actual data in it.
No,
it's basically a picture.
Essentially, yeah, it's a picture that you can't see until you open the box.
I thought I made all this. I drove diamonds out of the market. I printed hundreds of books. Do you know how much feathers and ink
It's a nice painting, though. It's a nice picture. Need me for anything else, or?
No. I just you can put the book back that you broke, but
okay, fair enough.
Well,
anyway, glad I could help.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. I hope I made your day good. Shout if you need anything else.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
By the way, there's a new shop you should check out as well. Bye.
You can light them using a fire aspect sword. I just want them back, man. I would do anything to bring them back. Today I went to the place where the All-Star would be, if this still was Season 2. I meant to grab a little bit of sandstone there, but instead I ended up digging deep down to the bedrock and all around the place, trying to find something, anything, to point towards the previous season. None of it was there. It's as if the builds over the previous year have all been but pulverized. But I know it couldn't have been that. Natural world generation of this world is going absolutely nuts, generating the Nether, the End, and other biomes, all in the overworld. The players are discovering glitched blocks and having hallucinations of unexplained nature. The moon is back, but it just cannot be back because we blew it up several times. The moon should not be there, and especially it shouldn't be a regular Minecraft moon. This whole time I was trying to bring Alice back, but there's nothing to bring back. Alice is just not there. My name is letsplay, and I'm starting this log to find out exactly what is going on with this world. Why it's so broken. Why it's so weird. And Alice, if you're watching, wherever you are, I hope that you are okay. I miss you so much.